Hello, everybody. Welcome to TUBETALK Live, which is a mix of a podcast, a live stream, and a fireside chat with the vidIQ crew. Each time we do this, we pick a topic that you guys have been asking us about, and we kind of have a little chat. We dissect it, we get to the bottom of it, and give you super practical, awesome advice so that you guys can go away and do some awesome YouTube videos. Now, the way that this works is divided into two sections. The first bit is just us having a chat. You guys can listen into that, of course, and then we're going to throw it over to you so that we can answer a lot of your related questions. But I don't want to do this alone, so I'm going to do this with the vidIQ crew, as I always say. And today we have YouTube resident creator, the one and only, you know him, you love him, Mr. Rob Wilson. Hello, Mr. Rob.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for loving me, as always. And thank you, everybody who's either watching or listening to this. Looking forward to another good YouTube discussion that I think everyone will benefit from.
Well, benefit, it's what it's all about. And joining us on the stream is that we have our channel auditor, master extraordinaire, someone who's helped channels blow up insane stuff, Mr. Jeff. Hello. Thank you for joining us, Mr. Jeff.
Hey, thanks for having me, man. Glad to be back on the stream with you guys.
Always a pleasure having you. All right. So, people, today it's something we've been asked time and time again, and it's all about what is the YouTube process. Now, I don't mean about uploading and which file do you drag where. People want to know the basics, right? Let's start way back when. How do we come up with an idea? How do we take that idea and transform that into a video? How do we then upload it and optimize it? That is what people are interested in. So I figured today, why don't we each share our process? Because I think the big thing is about that initial spark, getting that idea and then wondering, well, how do I take this idea and generate it? How do I get a good idea? How do I find what my next video is? So lots of those kind of questions. I'm going to start with Jeff this time. Sorry, Rob. He gets first light in the limelight. Jeff, first of all, tell us, you are a YouTube creator yourself. You have your own channel. So let's kind of put people on the same page. Tell us about your channel and what do you do on your channel?
So my channel started off, it's technically a tech channel. I mostly dive into doing headphones and earbuds and things of that nature. So audio products, mostly doing reviews. Rarely I'll do an unboxing here and there, but it's mostly about testing out the actual product and giving people the value of an experienced opinion.
Okay. So it's tech related content. Mm-hmm. It's you on camera. You provide a review or an opinion about whatever you happen to be testing at that time. Correct.
Yep. That's it.
Okay. Rob Wilson, you have a YouTube channel as well. It's called vidIQ, I believe.
That is correct. Yes.
What do you do on the vidIQ channel?
So our value proposition is essentially to educate YouTube creators on their journey to be a successful video creator, whether they're starting from scratch, 0 subscribers, 0 views, or whether they're a little more seasoned, they're looking towards monetization. We're trying to guide them through that journey. And because I've been through that process myself, I kind of feel as if I can relate to people's specific struggles and questions that they may be asking as they try to get the answers to grow their YouTube channel.
Okay. So now we know what everybody does. And for those who don't know, on my own personal channel, I also have a technology channel. I focus mainly to do with Wi-Fi, internet speed, routers, getting that kind of equipment, occasionally some phone stuff and some other cool gadget, which I think everybody needs to know about. So we all have different little areas of expertise. We're all coming in from a different place. Even though Jeff and I also technically have a tech channel. And just a secret here, Rob's original channel was a technology channel.
That is true.
That is very true. Fun fact, most people don't know that. So we all have that background, but yet you'll see today how we're all approaching YouTube slightly differently. And I suppose that's what YouTube is all about. The one thing you might have picked up from our conversation is that everyone is very specific. Jeff doesn't do fashion and lipstick and technology and earbuds and cooking. He just does his area. I do my area. Rob does hair products on the vidIQ channel, obviously, as well. He's looking around weirdly. So Rob does everyone. We all stick within our niche, and that's the important bit. But now, gentlemen, we all have our niche, but we all sitting in front of our computer wondering, okay, what's my next video? So I suppose let's start at the idea generation phase. Rob, I'm going to start with you this time. How do you come up with an idea for your next video? What's your process?
So let me stress, first of all, that this is how I do things now after being a content creator for almost a decade and being a YouTube educational person for 3 to 5 years at this point. It's less now, I must confess, about actually specific keyword research, because I feel as if I have a good, solid understanding of the types of things that people are searching for on YouTube when it comes to growing their channels. So for me, and I'm going to stress this again, for me specifically, there is a certain element of instinct, because I'm so wrapped up in this topic. When I see a news story or I see another video, in my mind, I can more or less compute in like 5 to 10 seconds whether or not I think that's actually worthy of a video. And I've probably got a rough video title in my head after a couple of minutes. I know for a lot of people, that's not the usual way that they would create content, that they're doing a lot more research. I mean, Leron, you often say in your weekly webinars that before you press record, you want to get all of the ingredients to create a magnificent recipe. And I think I probably do that subconsciously.
Yep.
But now it's like tied up in this 1 or 2 hours of research. Now I can do it in a matter of seconds or minutes. And I must admit, that's sort of like an innate gift or talent that's been built through experience. But yeah, I'd say that's how I do things. Now, obviously, I'm still going to be doing some searches on YouTube to see if there are any creators already doing those types of videos, looking at their metadata. But I almost feel as if I sometimes describe my idea generation as a little reverse engineered. I have the idea. I'm a doer. I want to create the content. And then I think a little bit more about the metadata. But by all means, and I welcome opposing ideas on this, which I think is where I'm going to throw it to Jeff with a probably more sensible approach to idea creation and content making.
Yeah, it's a little bit different because, you know, obviously we're at different stages as far as YouTube career is concerned. So at least for me, I've been leaning a little heavier into our own tools. So where I've set up competitors or channels that are within my niche that are successful, more successful than my own channel. And I'll lean into what they're doing. I'll check out my competitors tab to see which topics of theirs right now are getting higher views per hour. And then I'll start doing my actual search and a little bit of research to see which topics, like if it's a product that's trending, like something that may have just come out or something that is about to be released even. To see where that kind of search traffic is, because if there's already a wave of traffic moving through YouTube, I would rather jump on that than try to create my own wave in a sense. So that's sort of where it'll start. And then I'll start coming up with my titling and seeing which way I'm going to do. Even before I turn on the camera, I want to make sure that I have that title ready so that I know exactly what kind of energy I'm going to bring to that video. You know, if it's something that I'm positive about or something that I'm negative about or I'm indifferent, I want to know what my opinion is up front before I even turn that camera on. But that's usually right where I'll start. I'll be looking at competitors, looking at what the trending topics are that they're doing and what's working for them in our niche. And that's where I'll begin.
I think I've used this term before, Jeff, when I say this is a kind of almost like passive collaboration. You're following what your competitors are doing. You're not necessarily directly working with them, but as a collective group, you're all working on this topic to make it, I guess, more popular on YouTube for an audience to connect with. Now, what about you, Liron?
Come on. Oh, we got one back.
Sorry. I must have pressed the wrong button there. I do apologize.
Yeah, the process, I suppose, becomes very, very different for different people. And I think at different sizes, you do have a different approach. And a lot of it has to boil down to strategy. Are you going after search traffic or are you going around browse traffic? And for me, as a smaller creator, when I was building up my channel and trying to get that momentum, it was all about search. So I understand the tech world, I understand what's going to be a good or a bad, something I should focus on, but I need to find that angle. And I think, Jeff, you always say, look for that unique angle. What's going to make this video your own? What's going to make it pop? So I start at the search bar. I first got to do some research. Who else is talking about this product? Who else is talking about this topic that's popular, maybe something that's trending on hashtag, which is a good little tip, finding the trending stuff that's going on YouTube, on Twitter, on Instagram. So those are the topics that people are actively searching for. So if you want to get those initial views, that's a great place to start. And then you got to make it your own. So I start there, and then I kind of try to work out, what am I going to bring to the party? Why am I not going to make yet another video like a gazillion other people have actually started to make? So that's where I used to start. As my channel grew bigger, well, then my strategy changed. I was no longer going after the search traffic. I was then going after browse traffic. And then it's all about getting those headlines, getting that thumbnail, getting the right titles in order to try get those views. Was it my phone?
That is mine. I do apologize. Okay. I can't answer. How do I? Sorry about this, guys.
Use a hammer.
I don't know how to. I've never answered the phone on
Use
this
a hammer.
phone, and I didn't know how to hang up. Okay, that's going to be fun to edit for you later on in the
No,
podcast.
I'm excited about that. That's going to be. I'm considering my internet disconnected a little bit earlier, so as I lost off screen. Anyway, the
Leon,
joys of love.
I did want to ask you a sort of a bit of a follow-up question about this in terms of, let's just jump to the very end of a process for a second.
Yes.
In terms of you've had all of these ideas, you've created the content, and I think for you specifically, you had to do a lot of the hard yards in the tech area before YouTube started to give you some feedback about what a particular audience is really liking on your content, which ended up being how to get faster Wi-Fi. So once that happened, how did your approach change from being like a holistic tech creator to something a bit more laser beam focused on something?
Yeah, it's the whole niche within a niche. So I thought I was niche. I was doing technology. I mean, come on, that's not everything. That's just tech. But it turns out that that was still way too broad. So when YouTube picked up a video, which, by the way, I always like to say, was 4 months old when YouTube picked it up. So I launched a video, thought nothing of it. It did what it was going to do, and I simply moved on to the next video. And then YouTube picked it up. So evergreen content, the power of evergreen content is the fact that at any moment in time, YouTube could show it some love. So YouTube picked it up. I recognized that YouTube picked it up. And then I decided, you know what? People are liking this topic. What happens if I make another video on that same topic? What goes on? What will YouTube do with that? And it's almost as if that first topic kind of separated the waves, made it easier for that second video on the same topic to follow suit. And both videos started taking off. But I thought, hold on, should we do a third? And I did. And I made a third video. And again, always different angles, never repeating the same stuff. So there's always value for both subscribers and non-subscribers. But I was starting to niche within my niche. It wasn't just technology. It was all about faster routers, faster Wi-Fi, mistakes people are making, or how to get faster on your PlayStation, things that people were actively searching for, but within that genre. And that actually did that trick. Did I answer your question, Rob?
Yeah, I think what's interesting there is that, like, once you find a specific title that's really working well, like how to get faster Wi-Fi, you on the surface level, you think like, oh, that's it. I've told people how to get faster Wi-Fi.
Yes.
But it's all of those ideas and little questions within that ceiling topic is where you can really drill down and become that authority on a particular topic. And I feel as if, me personally, if you are very knowledgeable and passionate about a particular topic, you should always be able to generate ideas based on it through the comments that are coming through on the existing videos, and just through, like, again, you building up experience about what type of questions are generally asked about on a particular topic on YouTube, and how can I answer that question and then answer maybe a slightly very different question on the same topic, and I kind of like balloons into more and more questions being answered. And we are focusing on the search intent here as well. So go ahead.
No, absolutely. No, people are saying, I'm glad you brought it up because it's a clear mistake that we all make, where we make that one video and then we say, oh, well, people have seen it, so I'm done. Like, and then we try to move on to something completely different. It's like if I would say to you, Rob, you're going to make a video on the vidIQ channel. Well, just make one video, how to get more subscribers and more views, and then you're done. But we don't need more videos on the channel. Well, it doesn't work like that, because a topic should have multiple topics that surround it. The test and the homework I always give people that I consult with and channels that we help grow is I say to someone, I need you to write 10 titles now. If you cannot write 10 titles about the topic that you're speaking about, either you're just not so passionate about it, or maybe it's the wrong topic for you. You need to be able to get that information out of your head. Oh, I can easily speak about and spew those out, because when you can do that, it means you're going to connect with your audience. Jeff, I want to throw the same question to you. Was there a video on your channel that maybe gave you that takeoff, or was it lots of little stuff? What has been your journey like with your process?
Well, yeah, I mean, I've had I think one specific instance that came to mind was in 2019, where I was basically going to invest multiple videos on a topic, because I knew that there was a lot of traffic for it, and I was able to get early access to the product. So I was like, okay, so first I'm going to drop a video within 12 hours of receiving this as fast as possible, to sort of basically say, here's a first look at it, here's my first impressions. But in the video, I also said, but I want you to ask me your questions that you want to know about this product. And this way, when I do my follow-up review, I can answer all of your specific questions. That first video took off. It did pretty good. I was like, okay, it's doing pretty well. When I dropped that second video and then the third video, those two, the second and third videos, just absolutely blew up. And I ended up doing a fourth video, which didn't do as well. But the second and third videos, I believe it's the third video, ended up being, now it's the most viewed video on my channel. And that's something that I kind of taught me, that now when I see a topic that I think is going to do well and I have a good feel for it now, I'm willing to invest multiple videos on that. So exactly what you said, where you have to be able to write multiple titles on this thing. As soon as I have the idea, like I know which product I'm going to talk about, I immediately come up with a minimum of 5 or 6 video topics on that particular one. And I'm willing to invest multiple videos into that topic, which I just did recently. I did 3 or 4 videos on a particular product a couple of weeks back. So when I see that it's going to, something's going to do well, I'll prepare myself and create almost like a video bucket so that I can make multiple videos on that content. But you have to be willing to invest not only the time, but also multiple uploads to really become the authority on that particular keyword or topic.
But very quickly, just to say that, Jeff, you mentioned there, feel. So that idea again of gut instinct, and that just slowly evolves and builds in a creator when you immerse yourself in a topic. Go ahead, Liram.
Yeah, I was literally going to say that.
Sorry for stealing your thunder.
That both of you said the same thing. You just know, you have a feel, you have an idea of what is going to do well, but also what you're passionate about, what you can easily speak about, and what your audience wants. So I think let's swing the conversation slightly to the audience. How important is it for a creator to really understand not just the video creation process, but the audience that they are catering to? What is the audience journey like on your individual channels? So who wants to pick that one up first?
I will go first.
Hold back the enthusiasm.
So we are talking about, I think all of us just naturally are still talking about how our videos are first discovered, which tends to be search. And we continue to gravitate towards that because what we talk about is usually something that people are wanting to get an answer to, whether it's a purchasing decision or an educational question. So that's how you get discovered. But then it's up to you, once somebody's clicked on that thumbnail or title, which are also important, it's up to you to somehow inject a unique selling point to your video, like whether it's for your personality, the way you edit it, or the style and quality of the videos. That's where you can bring in who you are as a creator And then if you want to drop some humor in there or some personal stories, that's what makes you sticky content. People come for the answer to a question, but they stick around because they enjoy your company. You build a relationship, then the viewer trusts you. And at that point, that's when they're going to be clicking subscribe, or they're joining your live streams like the people who are today, which we're very thankful of, because I guess you invest a certain amount of trust in us, and you know that you're going to get some value out of this discussion.
Yeah, for sure, 100%. And I know for me it's a little different because I don't know how Rob does, how he manages comments, but my channel is very community based. So I still respond to every single comment. I still answer a lot of questions, and I will still make videos for my viewers. The beauty of it is a lot of them have their finger on the pulse a lot better than even I do. So they will bring me ideas. They will bring me products that I haven't heard about. Some of them are on the ground overseas. So where things are coming out months before they'll reach the States, they'll let me know, hey, this just came out. You know, do you want me to send it over? So things of that nature where I'll be able to lean on my audience to actually help me out. And then I'll make videos that they're looking for, whether it's comparisons, whether it's a particular product that's not well known. So I think it's important to at least build up a rapport with your audience, speak to them directly, and because they can help you out a lot, not only with topic generation, but also when you make a video that you specifically are making for them, they recognize it and they do show up.
I like that idea. And just as another pro little tip here, as far as using the audience and the community is concerned, usually other channels are going to make videos about the same topic. So something that is a good little practice to get into, go look at other channels who've made content on the same topic and go through those comments and see what people are asking. They may be saying, great video, but you never told us about 1, 2, 3, 4. Or I really would have liked more information on 4, 5, 6. And if you're getting lots of those kind of comments happening on somebody else's video, well, imagine you were the one who were telling them about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Then all of a sudden, there's a reason for that community to come over to you. Do not go and spam those comments, because creators hate that and they will block those. But as long as you're adding value to that conversation, when you eventually release your video, well, you've just earned trust. And because you're answering the question that they're naturally asking, all that translates into lovely views and then obviously lovely subscribers. Jeff, you've even mentioned it in your first video. You said, hey guys, what do you want me to do in my next video? Mm-hmm. And you solicit comments and suggestion from the audience. I love that. I mean, on the vidIQ channel, Rob, you use the community tab quite a lot to try get feedback from our community. Are you finding that people are responding to that?
Yeah, and that has taken a long time to cultivate and develop, actually, especially the community tab. We've been using it for 2 or 3 years now. To begin with, we might get maybe 10, 15 comments, but now it's at a point where we're getting hundreds of comments. Or we can actually really effectively use our voting polls in the community tab to survey our audience, because we get sometimes tens of thousands of answers, votes. And if you're getting tens of thousands of answers, votes on something, that can help drive what the audience wants to watch. Absolutely. But it takes time as well.
It takes time, yeah.
It does take time. We've been live streaming now for 2.5 years as well. And it's taken time to build up this audience, and the wonderful people who are actually sending us super chats right now. Like, let's be frank. Thank you for the $25 there.
And I actually want to pick up on that comment. He was talking about analyzing the audience, which is something we kind of mentioned on the audience journey. So the one thing that I always preach time and time again with the creators that I work with is you really need to know your audience. The mistake that a lot of people make is that they say, well, I'm making it for a technology audience. Or, in vidIQ's case, I'm making it for YouTubers. That's way too broad. You need to get super, super specific. Go look at your analytics, look at your demographics, look at that information that's going to glean all that valuable content so that you know exactly who you're making it for. I have an avatar. He has a name. He has an age group. I know that he's married. I know he's got disposable income. I know the kind of content he wants to see on my channel. And when I make a video, that's my filter. will this guy, will my avatar, his name's Alex, I don't know why I keep saying that, will Alex watch my video? That's the only question I have. And in fact, I've got it written up here on my wall. Will Alex watch this video? Because if I make it for Alex, I'm making it for a specific group of people, and that is how you win. When you try to be all things to all people all of the time, just way too broad. Guys, do you have an Alex? Do you have an idea in mind when you're making your videos?
Yeah.
I would say 4 out of 5 times I'm maybe talking to Alex, but then the other video might be to Barry or Sheila, who's like maybe Alex's friend. Or like, I mean, this is getting really convoluted now, but, you know, I think you also want to be aware of potential new audiences that you are going to reach. Like some people talk about the theory of one video for me, one video for myself. I tend to feel as if the majority of your time you should be serving your audience, but you found that audience to begin with by testing. So never forget that you want to be testing, not all of the time, but occasionally for a new audience as well.
Yeah, no, 100%. And I totally agree. I think that's something that we have to sort of manage that expectation for people. There are a lot of creators on YouTube that are very creative in that sense, where they're making essentially art. So for them, obviously, this is going to be about what they're doing. But for a lot of the rest of us, once I really figured out that I'm here for the viewer, and I'm putting the viewer first, and what value I'm bringing for them and how I can help them make a better, more informed purchase decision. Once I had that mindset shift and realized that it's literally every single video now that I've made for the past, 2.5 years is about the person on the other side of the camera. So it's about bringing them specific value. And now once I know that, I know exactly who to make this video for. And I'm trying to make it sort of agnostic as possible to where it not only will appeal to my core audience because I know what they like, but it'll also appeal to somebody who's brand new coming in.
Yes.
Yeah. It's like an enthusiast or an entry level enthusiast, if you will.
And again, I think you do have to try. I mean, you do have to experiment. So I do believe that you do have to step out of your comfort zone every once in a while. If you don't, how are you going to know where the boundaries are? When do you overstep? I mean, as Jeff, as you said, you made a bunch of videos about one topic, but the fourth one didn't do as well as the first 3. Now, your audience capability is 3 on a specific topic. But if you didn't make that fourth one, maybe you wouldn't have that information. So I like the idea of understanding the audience and experimenting every once in a while. Don't go super off radar. Stick within what you're doing, but it is nothing wrong with experimenting. If we take it back a slightly different direction, and I mean, I've got gear here. Everybody here there has got your gear. We've had an entire episode just talking about gear. So if you guys missed any of that, go and check it out. We spent some time with Sydney DeYoungson, and we spoke about the type of gear, the equipment that you need. But the one thing I want to address in this one, since we're talking about processes and procedure, and I'd like to hear from both of you, is your equipment already set up and you're ready to go in a moment's notice, or do you have to unbox everything, set everything up on a tripod? What's your process when it comes to that?
Go on, Jeff. I'll let you tackle this one first.
So mine's going to be changing here pretty soon, but right now, sadly, I do have to set up everything every single time. So it leads to some inconsistency in video quality, which is something that I'm not very happy about. But yeah, so essentially it's like because where I shoot, it's my apartment. So I either do it in the living room or I do it in my bedroom. So I have to, set up the camera, set up the lights, and then kind of get ready, sit down for the whole process. By the time I'm ready to actually hit record, I'm almost 45 minutes into this process. So, and then once I'm done, I have to start breaking everything down. So it just stretches everything much further, makes it a bit more stressful. But thankfully, I'm actually in the process of moving. So I'm going to actually have a dedicated studio, so everything will be set up and ready to go. So I could just come in, I'm going to hit 2 switches and be ready to go. So,
Rob, before you jump in there,
yeah.
Jeff, how important was having a dedicated space for you when you look at your next move?
Oh, that's actually the whole reason we're moving. That's 100% the reason we're moving, because it's essentially like, it's such an important thing to where it can hurt your creativity, because sometimes I'll get frustrated trying to get the settings right, trying to get the lighting right, to where it takes me out of my my mood, out of my space to feel creative, that by the time I start recording, I'm already so like out
I'm
of
done.
yeah the,
I'm done.
my energy is so off. I'm so tired, and not only that, having very small windows to record in where my family's asleep, where there's not much noise going on, where I can have the whole room to myself, things of that nature, to where now that's not going to be a problem. Whenever I feel creative, I can go in the room, shut the door, turn the camera on, and make it happen.
I can just imagine, because I think I'm going to go through this in maybe a year or two, where Jeff was having a huge argument with a family about who gets a master bedroom because it has the biggest square footage, so he can do all of his recordings. I lost the battle, so I'm in the second bedroom now, which isn't quite as big. But I do have my own recording space, which is valuable. Yeah. And I think what I would recommend people to do, even if they can't have things set up all of the time, is when you're ready to make a video, be ready to make the video. Don't wait until you have an idea and then say, right, now I need to set everything up. Because once you have that spark of inspiration to create the content, you just want to be able to press record. So when you have like a backdrop set up, you know where the lighting's going to be, your memory cards are in place, the camera's all set up. It's a bit like when I recommend people make a YouTube video and just upload it with no expectations of actually having an audience watch it. You just want to go through the experience of knowing how to where the thumbnail goes and like what happens when you press publish. It's the same for the recording experience. Have as fewer variables or uncontrollables as possible. You know that the microphone's working and you know what it should be set to. You know what your aperture or like the lights need to be set up. Everything's charged, so on and so forth. That's in a controlled environment. Obviously, if you're a vlogger, then it's a little bit different, and you have to somewhat accept and embrace a chaos that whatever happens during your storytelling, you make that part of the video, and then you make it a more refined story in the editing process. That I think the software editor is going to be your friend when you're more of a vlogger. But yeah, just being prepared as much as possible for whatever eventualities come up.
And never underestimate the power of a Sharpie. I mean, even if you have to break everything down and put it back up again, if you take a little marker and you mark on your tripod where the setting, where it's supposed to be pointing, if you put a mark on the floor with some, I don't know, duct tape or gaffer tape, whatever you guys call it, so you know where to put it up, the less variables that you have, the easier it is to get going. So yes, whilst we all would love to have a studio that you walk in, push a button, sounds like Jeff is building one. But when you walk in and you push a button and everything just magically happens, if you're not in that position, well, make it as simple for yourself as humanly possible by pre-marking. The less you got to think, the easier it is just to get in and just do it. There is nothing more frustrating than having this great idea, then realize, hold on, I need a top headshot, but I don't have a camera set up. Or I need to do this, but there's too much noise. Or I need to do this, but there's not enough light. Then you might as well just forget it. It's just too frustrating. The less you got to think, and you can just get in and actually get creative, the better you're going to feel about your video making process.
Yeah, this is also why I stress for creators who are just starting out to keep it simple and use their cell phones and not dive into DSLR, but grow with your channel. Yes. Because it's an investment for a lot of people. Buying a DSLR, buying a mirrorless can be a massive investment. So start with what you have to learn the fundamentals and to build those habits of getting in front of the camera, of editing the video, of uploading, of making thumbnails, of doing the research, to build that repertoire of, I know how to do this. Because I know I did 120 something odd videos with a cell phone before I moved over to using a DSLR camera, because I wanted to make sure that I didn't want to invest before I was sure that this was for me.
Well, it's also smart, Jeff, because you might be persuaded by watching all these amazing tech YouTubers and the kind of gear that they use to go spend so much money on equipment, and it turns out you actually don't need it. There's so many people who go onto Twitter and they go, whoopsie, I accidentally bought these 10 items. They haven't left the box. I don't actually need them. So I love the idea of using what you have. And if you need lights, go to a Walmart, go to a Home Depot store, go to your local convenience store and get yourself a lamp with a globe and start with that. And if you can see it, then build up and build up and build up. And again, if you guys want to understand the processes of setting up a studio or the entire procedure, we not only do we have an entire episode just talking about that, but we've also got a whole course talking about that as well in the vidIQ Academy, so anybody can get access to that. So as we wrap up our processes, let's all go through a quick run through of how we do. And I'll go first to give you a little bit of an idea before we go to Q&A in those live chats. So for me, it's about, I need a topic. I need to know what I'm going to speak about on my channel. So my number one thing is research. I look at Google Trends. I use the vidIQ tools. I look at YouTube search. I look at who's talking about that. What are they saying? And what can I bring differently to that party? How can I bring it to my own so that my Alex, my avatar, will pick up something new that he hasn't seen in a million other places? I don't want to be a Me Too channel. I've got to bring it different. I've got to bring something unique. So I start with that. I then come up with my title. So I have ideas of what I'm going to say, 3 or 4 different titles for the one video. I then think about my thumbnail. What's that's going to be like? Is it me making the YouTuber face? Or is it going to be a product placement? What's it going to be? And then I script it. I like to use bullet points. I like to use a teleprompter at times if it's more complicated. And then I get into the studio, do the editing, and then do my uploads. But that's my rigid procedure that I know everything follows. And the second that it hits upload, well, not the second, but probably an hour after I upload that video and I looked at the analytics, I then like to, as best as possible, try forget that video and focus on the next one because it's done. It's out there. I'll relook at it again. Maybe I can change a thumbnail. Maybe I can change a title, but I'm very much in the next one mode. Rinse and repeat a lot. That's my process. Jeff, take us through a quick high level of your process.
So yeah, I mean, essentially the same thing. It's just coming, doing the research, finding the title. Once I have the title, I'll get all my notes together. I don't write a script for the videos. It's mostly loose talking points just to keep myself on track. Record the video, go ahead and, do the edit, find the shots that I need, shoot all those shots that I need for B-roll, get the whole thing uploaded. And essentially I upload into unlisted basically, or sorry, not unlisted, into private. Get all the SEO and all that stuff squared away and wait for my window, my traffic, my best time to upload window, and go ahead and release those videos at that time for the best, possible chance of having a successful video essentially. And from there, I will move on to the next video. I come back around 3-hour mark, 6-hour mark to check on, CTR, check on, the things, make sure things are working okay. Answer comments for the first couple hours. But aside from that, I'm like you. I'm moving on to the next one and seeing kind of what's working and what isn't.
And Rob.
Okay, so I think there's 2 approaches I have to making video content. Sometimes it really is instinctive, and it's like, I've seen something, I want to make a video on it, I'm going to do it instantly. And examples of that might be recently are all of the YouTube short stuff, where I'm just throwing myself into that topic and I'm going to make a video. On other occasions, I will actually plan out something. If there's a topic that people always ask about on YouTube, like how often should I upload, or reasons why I might not monetize my channel. I actually have, there's a program called Asana, which we use to create tasks, and actually a bullet point what I'm going to be talking about, because I may not be making a video about that today. It might be a couple of weeks down the line when I have some more time. So that's when I will plan out things a little bit more. We've already talked about making sure that we have our filming space set up and ready to go with as fewer obstacles and variables as possible. I just saw in the chat, like, do you script your content? And the answer to that is I don't script when I'm talking to camera because I don't have an auto cue or anything like that. But if I'm doing a voiceover, I actually do write a script because I can waffle, as you've no doubt noticed sometimes on the live streams. So there's a combination of the two. And in terms of structure, I am very much in the moment. Like, I don't know, I kind of know where I'm going to start the video, but then I let this is, and again, this is almost like an inert skill that I've developed over many thousands of videos that I've made. I just trust myself where the videos are going to lead. And Leron, you sometimes ask me about how I do that. Like, how do you make your videos? And the answer is I just make them in the moment. So I think what's really important for me is guarding my time. Like, once I start a video, I don't want to be distracted by another task. And I love to make a video and start it all in the same block of time. I hate starting a video on Monday and finishing it on Wednesday. I cannot stand that, because once I sleep on something, to try and pick it up the following day, I'm very much in a cold start mode, and it takes ages to get back into that. But again, in the chat, share your thoughts about that. It's another one of those very personal things. And then I'm making the thumbnail and a title towards the end of the process. I know kind of what the title is to begin with, but then I'm going to refine it based on what other video creators are doing. You know, I'll literally do a search for it, and I'll see, I like that title, and I'm going to change it a little bit to fit my needs. And then I think I mirror everybody else in terms of what Jeff said and you said about publishing a video. I upload it first, give it a few hours to marinate in the YouTube platform, so I know that it's got the highest resolution. Like, you know, never upload a video with the intention of publishing it live within 10 minutes unless it is super time sensitive. And then post at the best time for your audience, look at the comments, that type of thing. And yeah, I think I'm repeating pretty much what everyone else has said at this point.
All right, so good approaches. I think the scripting versus non-scripting, if that could be a bit of a contention, but again, it's about getting the information out. And I think if you're super fly by the seat of your pants kind of person, and you can do that, and your content lends itself to doing it, great. If you're talking about certain technical specs or things that need to be absolutely solid because that's information you're giving out there, maybe bullet points are great. You know, some people love to read off a teleprompter, and they could write the script in such a way that it sounds, they write it in the way that they would speak. Also great. The point is, you've got to find methods that work for you. Rob, I'm like you. If I start something, I can't get into the same mood again 5 days later and pick it up again. If I'm going to start recording, it's got to be done today. But the editing may be done a little bit later or even the next day. Yeah. But the recording and getting the content out, if I'm going to swear at my camera 300 times because I've messed up my lines, it's all going to be on one day. The next day is already done. And by the way, sometimes it's okay to even walk away. Say, I'm just not feeling it. I started it. It's too frustrating. Put everything down, leave it, come back later, or come back the next day.
Am I able to squeeze in another quick question here? Sorry, Leron.
You can, of course.
Because you just raised it, like you film and then you edit. Do you do that as well, Jeff? Because this is where I think I'm completely different to people, in that I film a bit, then I edit it, and then I kind of, through that process, I know where I'm going next in my video, and then I film some more. I'm just wondering how you two do it.
So, sorry, go ahead.
No, Jeff, you jump in.
No, what I was going to say was, for me, as far as when I film the talking head portion where I'm talking to the camera, that's all done in one shot. And once I do that all in one sitting, I'll edit that whole portion. And with that edit, that's where I can determine which exact product shots, B-roll shots, action shots, whatever I'm going to need. I'll write all of those down with timestamps. So I know exactly, once I get all of those shots, like I have a checklist of all the shots that I need, get all of those shots, and I can do that the next day, the day after that, you know, it's all good. But that one initial sitting where I do the whole talking portion, I do have to do that all in one shot, because I have to be in the same mood. I have to feel the same type of energy for it. Yeah. When I've done it in different locations, I did a video where I did it in 4 locations, and the energy was all over the place.
Yeah.
I think for me, it's unlike you, Rob. Some of us have a job, and the job isn't making videos. So we got to kind of balance up your time with what you can do, how much, family time, personal time, all of that. If I can shoot a video and edit the same day, then I do. Because that's always ideal, because you're in the zone, you're in the mood, you know exactly how to do it. And as Jeff says, yes, put some B-roll. You've made your shot lists. You're going to get your B-rolls and put that over that later on. But the main editing, to get it done, out of the way, you also feel good. You feel like you've accomplished something, so you're even more inspired to get those B-roll shots and put it all together. The problem is, a lot of us have a job, and a lot of us work, and a lot of us maybe can only shoot for a certain period in the evening before it's bedtime or family time. So then you have to edit the next day. So I suppose just time is a big time suck here. For you, Rob, your job is making videos, which is insanely amazing. So we can't all be vidIQers like Rob. So,
Yeah, I'm sensing a lot of passive aggressiveness here. That's fine. I appreciate that.
Not even a little bit. I mean, the rest of us have to do like real work, but that's okay. You make your videos. That's fine.
No, that's why I advocate for doing things at your pace, because that's why I'll split it up. Like I'll shoot the talking head one, and then if I don't have the time, or if I need to spend stuff like time with family and stuff, then I'll edit the next day, and then I'll do the B-roll the following day. I'll do the B-roll and then the final edit, and then I'll do the upload the next day. So I usually start that process. Like I'll film the talking head on Sunday, and since I split everything up, by the time I'm done, it's like Thursday or Friday. So the video is ready to go either Friday morning or Saturday morning.
I have one final question. It's a short answer though. For every minute of video content, how long does it take you to do that? And I'll answer first to give you an idea. For me, it takes roughly 1 hour for every minute. So if I make a 15-minute video in total, and that includes uploading to YouTube and the thumbnails, it's about 15 hours of work.
Yeah.
Sounds about right.
Yeah,
okay.
Easily. Yeah, because I know I can easily spend, if it's a 10, 12-minute video, it'll easily be anywhere between 12 to 15, 16 hours for each video. So yeah.
But I will say one thing on that is that sometimes you just get that bolt of inspiration. You get up on camera, everything just goes well, and then that video performs insanely well. And then you're thinking to yourself, hold on, that video I spent an hour from start to finish and it did ridiculously well. That video I took 3 weeks to do and it did okay. Sometimes those most passionate stuff just works. It's the stuff that you're so excited to get out there, means your audience is excited to receive that. So I suppose a bit of a time balance. But yes, the 5-minute videos that people actually see on YouTube, people don't realize just how much effort goes behind the scenes to get that stuff out. All right, so as we wrap up the first part of this fireside chat, let's throw it over to you guys in the chat that you've been patiently waiting and asking questions, even though we couldn't respond to you at that time. You can do that now. Tag at vidIQ, and if you got your questions, and let's keep them on the topic of today's discussion, which is the process, things that we can help you with your journey. Let's not worry about how to get more views and how to get more subs. Those, we have so many other webinars for those. This is just about helping you get your video from idea to creation and get you going. So, Rob, if you're going to do the honors,
I'm going to start looking for questions. Just in the meantime, I want to say thank you to Jake Glowbox for the $5, and Let's Be Frank also dumped in another $50 of a super chat. So thank you very much. He loves vidIQ, and we've helped him tremendously early on in the YouTube journey. So you are more than welcome, and it is appreciated, the super chat there. Right. So, if you do want to fire in your questions, I'm going to do my best to try and pick them up as quickly as I can when they come in. But I'm not seeing any just yet.
So I'll take a quick second just to give a big shout out to Daniel and all the moderators holding it down in the chat. We super appreciate you guys.
Absolutely, yeah. I'm going to pick this one just to kick us off, so that I think we're going to almost like interpret this. No, not that one. Right, let's that one. Here we go. How am I edit? So I'm going to interpret this question as, what type of video editor do you use? I think like the staples are, to very begin with, it's like either Movie Maker or iMovie for the free version. Those are both great starting points. And ultimately, you're going to end up with something like Adobe Premiere Pro or Final Cut, I think, on Apple. But then there's usually one in between for a lot of people. And I'm currently on Camtasia. The reason I use that personally is because it has excellent screen recording functions, which I need for my videos. And just the ease of use, the way that you can press Control A, and then that allows you to do like a complex animation of zooming in, zooming out. I don't know any other editing piece of software that does it that easily. Like Premiere Pro, you seem to have so many variables. Again, we're talking about variables. Camtasia removes a lot of the variables in terms of what you need to do with an editor. I know it's not the best because you can't do any color grading, that type of thing, but I just get by on that. So Leron and Jeff.
Again, it's all about removing those barriers. If you're going to be inspired to make your video, but it's going to take you 4 weeks to get this thing edited and chopped up, and you've watched every Premiere Pro tutorial out there, and it's too hard.
Yeah.
Because if you can get something out with Camtasia or a whole bunch of it, I use something called Power Director. So you don't have to go for the DaVincis of the world or Premiere Pros of the world. Find something that works for you. A lot of them will give you 15 days or 30-day free trial to experiment with. Get a video, start editing it in those 30 days. How easy was it? Pick one, use that until you absolutely need a function that it just doesn't have.
Yeah, I actually edit all of my videos on LumaFusion on my iPad. So,
yeah, Travis is another iPad user when it comes to editing. I don't know how you guys do it.
I couldn't do that.
It's so simple. I was using Filmora 9 before that. And I got DaVinci, and I was having a hard time trying to figure it out. I got Adobe, and I was really not able to get it. And it was slowing down my process because I was already needing to create these videos, and it was slowing me down trying to learn. And I was like, you know what? Let me try this out. And I tried it out on my phone, LumaFusion. Tried it on my iPhone, which is incredibly tedious. Don't ever do it on your phone if you don't have to. But once I saw how easy it was to put the project together, to clip everything, to the whole process, I was like, okay, all right, I need to go ahead and invest in an iPad and put this, because once I bought it for the iPhone, I was able to, I got the app on the iPad now. And with the larger space, it's so much easier than using the Apple Pencil along with that. And then I also shoot a lot of B-roll shots with an iPhone, so I can airdrop those B-roll shots straight to the iPad. It sped up my workflow so much to now my iPad Pro has become, with the exception of shooting the actual like talking head video, I edit the audio on there, I edit the video, I do the thumbnails, I do all of it within the iPad now.
And I could think of nothing worse.
Me too. And I was going to ask the joke. And is it easy to get all of those video files onto an iPad?
Yes.
But you said AirDrop, and I thought, oh.
Well, AirDrop for the quick B-roll shots, but for the most part, I mean, I have a, what do you call it? It's a USB-C dongle, and it has like a headphone jack.
Cheap
and
was
SD card.
that? Was that relatively inexpensive?
Well, it was sent over by my friends at Anchor.
Of course.
Of course.
Right. I've got another question here then. Pinky Tech. This is a tech question, so it's right up your alley here, Jeff. Do you have a rule on when you add B-roll or effects, or do you just watch until you get bored and add something at that spot?
Well, I actually have a very specific thing about that, and I can't remember if it was my friend Terry Warfield or who it was that said, don't do pointless B-roll. So don't just add a pointless shot in there. So when I'm doing my B-roll, when I say that I'll edit the full video and then I'll timestamp and I'll write down those product shots, those are specific shots. Like, it's like very specific. Me wearing the headphones, me listening to it. Here's a song I'm listening to. Me watching video, me playing games, me shaking my head no, or I'm dissatisfied with this. So it's very specific to illustrate what exactly I'm saying at that point in the video. And as far as timing is concerned, I try to not let my face show for longer than, say, 10 to 15 seconds in between these shots, unless I'm trying to make a very specific point. And then if I'm going to let my face show for, say 30 to 60 seconds, when I'm making different points within that, phrase, I am punching in and out. So I'm trying to keep it dynamic to keep that attention, because we're like attention engineering here. Right. And we're trying to keep somebody focused on the video because if they're just staring at my face and I'm just static and I'm not moving and it's not dynamic, they're going to get bored and they're going to click away. So I got to keep them here. So
next question from the wonderfully named Ploppy54. Does having a video unlisted for a few hours help with distribution before publishing? Go on, Leron. Do you want to try and tackle this one?
Yeah, so unlisted, essentially, the reason we all unlist our videos when we upload them in is to get YouTube to understand what's in this video. So it gives it time for monetization, it gives it time for to pick out any nonsense in case YouTube erroneously flags the video. Yeah. So it gives it time to it to settle down. As Rob says, let YouTube marinate in it for a while. It also gives you time to walk away and come back and then go, okay, let me watch it as if it's on YouTube, because that's where it lives now. Does it all look fine? I once picked up the fact that I uploaded in very low resolution by mistake because I exported it wrong. So it gives you just time to have that breathing space and that second space to go, oopsie, made a mistake, take it down. Also, it gives it time to you to look at it how it looks on YouTube, as far as your title and your thumbnail. Is it clickable? Are you happy with it? So unlisted is great. Does it help with distribution? Not that I'm aware of. And I know that people have tried a trick in the past where they got lots of people to watch their videos in unlisted, then made it public. So it seemed to the next person that this video's already got a couple of hundred views, therefore they must watch it. A bit of social proof, if you say. Perhaps that worked, but as far as YouTube itself is concerned, I'm not sure YouTube gives it any more credit. YouTube only looks at it from the time that it goes live to the public.
Yeah, it sounds like one of those attempts to hack the system, which rarely works. Like I say, it's just for YouTube to check that it's good. And what I often do is once I've uploaded a video, I have to then timestamp it and write out the description. And so I almost delay that so that I'm allowing the video to do what it needs to do on YouTube while I fix all of the metadata and thumbnails. It's almost like that enforced blocker before I press the publish button, which helps as well. Unless you've got anything to add there, Jeff, I'll move on to the next question, which was something I'd found it and now I've lost it. It was something to do. Here we are. So this one here, how do I use editing to improve audience engagement? And I think, Jeff, you've already touched on this, and that ultimately you're trying to give the viewer something new every 10 to 15 seconds, whether it's a change in angle. It could even be a sound effect or a change in music. The one thing I would add to this is try and engage your audience early on in the video, because what a lot of people do is ask a question at the end of a video, and you'll realize that maybe only 20-30% of the audience is watching at that point. But if you ask a question in the first, if you can try and incorporate a question into the first 30 seconds of a video, then you're directly getting them to be involved in the content. One of the good examples of this is I asked viewers at the start of a video, like, this video is about how to get 1,000 subscribers, but I want to know why you want to get 1,000 subscribers. And I knew the answer for a lot of people was going to be because I want to monetize my content. And then my answer to that was, then you're not thinking, you haven't got the right mindset on YouTube, because it's too far a goal to reach right now. You want to think more about the steps that are going to get you there. So yeah, I think just audience engagement is going to help you early on. Go ahead.
It's three things. It's normally like as Jeff said, punching in, punching out. So it's a different angle. Sound is a great one. Those little tings, little bells, little notification. And then don't forget text on the screen. So if you're talking about something, say what you're talking about. I tend to ask a lot of questions in my video. So, and I'm talking about a DNS. So I will say, so what is a DNS? And I will actually type that out on the screen. What is a DNS? Because people listen to me saying it, but then they're reading it. They're going to keep on for a little bit longer. They want to see the answer to that. So it's the angles, the sounds, and text on screen gives you that engagement.
Yeah, and I've been doing I do it within the first third of the video now, which is something I started doing a couple of months ago, where I kind of have a question of the day kind of a thing. And it can be like one of those, what do they call those questions, where it's a messed up choice either way. So it's like, you know what I mean? It's one of those where I'll say either, do you want a great looking set of headphones but sound terrible, or do you want the ugliest set of headphones you've ever seen but it has the most amazing sound? So it'll be things like that where it's kind of giving them this choice. But it's something that I'll do. And once I started adding those questions in early, because I used to do them at the end, and once I started adding them in the first third of the video, the engagement, I was already getting hundreds of comments. But now it's gone from hundreds to thousands. It's like, okay, wield that power carefully.
One more thing to add as well about audience duration is that depending on your topic or the intent of your videos, that's going to affect audience duration. For example, if you're a search-driven channel, unfortunately, you have to accept that generally speaking, unless you're an incredible personality on camera and you're building a relationship with your audience, view duration is generally lower. But if you are a personality channel and you're telling stories, then view duration will be higher. And so, like, for some of you, like I don't know, I do like listicles for the best video games, and my view duration is always 40%. But where I look at like PewDiePie or Mr. Beast, their view duration is 80-90%. You're trying to compare apples and oranges, where they may be sort of in the same space, but entirely different creators.
That's true. Should we do a couple of more questions?
Yeah,
three more questions. Let's do three more.
This is where I've been talking and not really trying to find another question. So we'll again, this is kind of related. Do you think it's a good idea to create a channel with a majority of videos being shorts? As though this is like a new area of content creation. I've already spoken a lot about this. I think you did as well, Leron. So let's ask Jeff if he's got any thoughts yet on YouTube Shorts.
Well, I mean, it's still a lot of experimentation going on with it. So I personally haven't done any experimentation with it myself. So I've been watching what Rob's doing, been watching what a few of my friends have been doing. I don't know if you want to create an entire channel just for that, but it's worth a try. I mean, here's the thing. It's free to create a channel. You never know what'll happen. It's something that's very new. And if it's easy for you to make content there, I say go for it.
Jeff, have your colleagues been making new channels for these shorts, or have it been like it's just one short mixed with the rest of their content on their channel?
So
because that's a discussion we've been really talking about.
So far, it's been them creating a secondary channel.
Okay.
So we have an entire episode talking about just on YouTube Shorts. So if you want to find it, if you're listening to us on the podcast, go look for the Ultimate Guide to Shorts. And we've actually got one of these fireside chats on the channel as well. If you want to watch us rip each other apart, we're talking about shorts.
I think this does fall into the topic of what I mentioned earlier, whereby you found an audience with a certain type of videos, but you don't be afraid to experiment. And shorts would be another example of falling into that. Whether you want to make a new channel or not, we've talked at length, I think, in the previous one. Oh, look, somebody's asking here, what are shorts? Have you not been watching vidIQ for the last month? We've got tons of videos on the topic. Let's try this one. Oh, no, that's it. Right. I don't want to do another shorts question.
Yeah. We have a whole episode on that where we go talking about monetization and where you should do it, how should you do it, what's working, what isn't working, what YouTube says is supposed to be done versus what actually happens. So it's a big topic. We just don't want to do it injustice by simply cutting into this here.
I'm trying to find a good question.
Well, we got one more to go.
Yeah.
What are my shorts questions? Okay, I'm just going to answer this question quickly. Someone says, how do they get pinned chat in their live stream? It's something that YouTube has to give you. It's not something that you can just set.
It's funny. I've just been making a video on that this morning, a full tutorial. And then I did answer the caveat. So we've got it now, but we had to wait months to get it. So I don't know if it's available to everyone. So it sounds like not everybody has it.
Not everybody gets it.
Yeah.
And
mine
YouTube
just appeared.
Yours disappeared. Oh, no, better YouTube.
Mine just appeared.
Oh, yours just appeared.
Yeah.
Okay. So great. That tutorial probably needs a bit of tweaking since not everyone can get it. Let's see.
It's audience engagement, Rob. This is what we've been speaking about.
Here we go. Right, we'll finish with this one with Ping Pong Masters. Just curious, what % of time would you each say you spend on your titles and thumbnails versus creating your actual content? If you want me to give you a number, I'm probably going somewhere in the region of 25% for title and thumbnail. It would be my answer. 25% or less, because sometimes it just comes to me immediately, and I love the videos where I know the title and the thumbnail straight away.
Yeah, it sounds about right to me too, because research.
Yes, exactly.
So it falls under research for me.
I wouldn't start a video until I knew that I had an idea of what my title is, and I had an idea of what my thumbnail would be. So by the time I'm done the video, going back to simply polish that and simply give it another skin is just simple. But I must tell you, before I did that, it was insane. I used to spend so much time trying to craft a video title and so much time trying to come up with a thumbnail. And then I didn't take a thumbnail picture, so I had to find a screen grab. It's just the wrong way around of doing that. Once you change it and you know what you want to do beforehand, just cuts your time down. 25% probably sounds about right.
And we would agree that most people make the mistake when starting out on YouTube is that they don't spend enough time on thumbnails and titles. It is the afterthought. They do just knock it together when literally press upload, and then it's like, what title or thumbnail do I need to make?
Completely. And then remember that it's not a title, is it good or bad, and thumbnail, good or bad. It's title and thumbnails together. They decide whether you're going to get the click or not. I always say I spend 70% of my time on titles and thumbnails, 20% of my time on my description, and the last 10% on tags. Titles and thumbnails are the most important.
And with our tool, I mean, we've made the tags and everything very streamlined, so it makes it almost automatic in a sense, just to keep it relevant. But no, 100%. I wish somebody would have told me that. It would have saved me a year's worth of time if somebody at the very beginning would have said, you know what, when you're just starting out, before you even hit record, have those titles ready. Have those titles ready and work on that thumbnail. At least have the idea of the thumbnail before you hit record.
I'm glad somebody remembered to mention our tools.
Well, it's not about self-promotion, Rob. It's about adding value to the conversation. And don't forget to like and subscribe. Don't forget.
Check out the pinned comments. Buy the merch.
Oh, we got merch. Look, we're both wearing our shirts. Yeah, but Jeff, at the end of the day, about your titles, if you know this is going to be, I want to get 5 tips out of this video, well, then you just shoot 5 tips. If you don't have a clue what you're going to do, you'll end up filming for hours and hours and hours and hours, and then you've got a memory card full of stuff, and you're going, oh, I got to find 5 minutes in all this nonsense. The vloggers are particularly guilty of this. They'll go to an event, film for 3 days in a row, and I tap any one of them on their soldiers, and I say, hey, what's your title for this video? And they go, I don't know, VidCon 2020. Okay, well, how are you going to go through 3 days worth of filming to come up with something? But if you go in knowing, saying, I want to capture today, it's the epic celebrities I've met, well, it's done. You're very, very focused. That's why it saves you all that time. So,
and I would have probably said, VidCon 2020 was cancelled this year, right?
It was online.
I know. I was getting there. I was saying, if you're going to turn up at the Anaheim Convention Center, you ain't going to find Jack there, I'm afraid.
All right, everybody. Thank you for hanging out with us on another fun, very chilled, very informal, but just more our experiences answering your questions that you submit to us during the week. And then, of course, we get into the chat and we try to answer as many as we can. We try to keep them on topic just to add value to people who are here for this topic. But, of course, we have other live streams. On a Tuesday, we do the channel audits, which these guys are nodding frantically because I think once I've been kicked off their team, it's just gone so much better. So that's fine. But I have my own live stream on a Wednesday, so you can join me on that, where we do the A to Z or A to Z, if you're in America, of the practical stuff using the vidIQ tools to get your videos ranked, getting you more views and more subscribers. And then every once in a while, every 2 weeks, we pop in for one of these. So lots of videos on Rob is making frantically because that is his full-time job, unlike the rest of us. So he's able to. And we are going to say goodbye on that note. But this time, we're going to wave awkwardly at the camera as you hit the thumbs up button on your way out. We're just going to look at you like this. I'm not sure how long because Rob's controlling this.
Yeah, I'm just going to give you all a quick plug for a week today when I think we're going to have a Halloween special when it is just Q&A. Right?
Oh, the entire thing is Q&A.
Yeah, just Q&A. So
Halloween themed?
Not Halloween themed. No, I don't want you to ask us questions like what sort of Halloween video should I make because it'll be too late by then. But I might be Halloween themed or guests might be Halloween themed. And so that's next week, probably at this time.
So next week, not in 2 weeks. Next week, the 30th.
Next week, yeah, the 30th of October, yeah.
30th of October. Come and join us for only a Q&A. None of the fireside chat at the beginning. Rob, how long do we have to wave at the camera?
My this wave is really starting to hurt my wrist. Okay. I'm trying to do the Queen wave. When it's
should we all do the Queen wave? Ooh.
Yeah. I need to get it on screen, actually. Okay, there we go.
This is for crowds.
Yeah, okay.
This is what? For crowds? Okay, Rob? Yeah, we have things to do.
I'm checking my analytics here. How many people? There's 118 people watching us do this.
Well, just waves. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, at least wave back if you're in the chat.
So if we wave like this for a minute, we get 2 hours of watch time.
Well, we have seen the live stream channel where the guy just slaps himself in the corner for 2 hours. So
and smiles.
And
once when somebody broke into his apartment while he was doing that and he continued to smile at screen. That is fact.
And that's commitment, by the way.
Fact and commitment. Anyway, all right. I'll press a button now. All right. We're going off screen. Bye, everyone.
Bye, everybody. Push the button.
I've got to get it right. There we go. There we go. Right. And now, right. Okay. I need to remove this question. I don't know how to do it.
Never mind.
You're listening to more of me now. Now, Streamlabs, you haven't made this easy. Show, hide. There we go.
There we go.
There we go.